personalities on both teams with their competition. Here it is, game 2 between AP BREN and Bigetron Alpha.
Yeah, KTZ is looking to actually shut down Saken early on. That's why Super Marco this time around going in for a stronger gold laner. They should have better gold priority. KTZ right here. With the current talent update, I think Hayabusa is actually stronger right now in the earlier parts of the game. Before that, he needs like level 6, but no, now because of the lethal ignition, it actually hurts like a truck. So that means that KTZ is going to get a lot more value out of this lethal ignition. But Super Bin jumping in, Ogwen has to just get out of there. Jit Kundo out.
Trying to clear the wave as fast as possible, so it does prompt Super Win to show up. We've seen this Grok XP lane every now and then, and in this case, you kind of take away a bit of that invade potential early on, but you do have a Grok that is going to absolutely smack you to the ground with that force of nature early on. He in danger though. KTZ just punishes him with the first blood as Super Win shows up with a bouncing ball, trying to take fuel away, but unfortunately that is not going to be the case as Super Ken now having to tank out the OG Shadow kill. KTZ with the help of Fuel will get a double.
AP BREN right here coming in the nick of time. KTZ used key to get into level 4 and then just transitions into a shadow kill. AP BREN is basically thinking 2 steps ahead as compared to Bigetron Alpha, and this is a very scary team. Ghostbusters coming in just in the nick of time. Ogwen looking for a pickup right here. Super Bin still knocking up 2.
Just look at the massive damage from KTZ, right? You said before this new emblem giving the Hayabusa a lot more than early damage with the lethal ignition.
Yep.
And we see that every time he shows up for a trade. You have people like Key, not exactly the most durable hero to deal with a Hayabusa. In fact, right, who can expect a little girl to deal with a ninja? No one, right? No little kid has ever won against a ninja.
I'm trying to think of any Naruto reference to pull out right there, Husky, but of course, I couldn't think of any for now. But AP BREN right here in a solid start, right? Super Bin gets knocked out by Ogwen at the same time. There's a big wave that Super Bin needs to deal with. He's not even level 4 yet, and the turtle is up. KTZ has the turtle priority.
So Rizzo able to chunk down a lot of HP from KTZ, but he also is losing a lot of that health. Final slash from KTZ does miss. Super Ken shows up, forcing the call alter out from field, has the Angela heartstrings with him as well. The heart guard is going to allow him to get the turtle away as AP BREN tries to fight this one. Super Vin dropping low, KTZ back in the fight, but Super Ken should be able to get away with the help of Key. That hard guard Q is just massive.
Yeah, the hard guard heal was the differentiation for the side of Bigetron Alpha, because AP BREN, don't forget, like I said, they have the turtle priority, but Bigetron Alpha wrestled it away. If you take a look at the emblems, right, like both of these two assassins going in, but something very for the lethal ignition, something interesting in my opinion for the side of Bigetron Alpha, that Joy Super Ken, instead of going for the assassin emblem, went for the mage emblem. Needs more raw damage, right, to supplement the early game. And going into the later parts of the game, KTZ does have enough damage. Oh, that's a purple buff. Still secured by KTZ, luckily.
Super Ken, good attempt. Unfortunately, KTZ just a bit sharper on that red tree, and now he's looking for an opportunity. Goes right in. The lethal ignition proc is ready to death. Only shadow kill mitigated by the hard guard as AP BREN will be able to chase for more kills.
Super Bin, I think oh, okay, Zorizo actually knocks out KTZ. Super Bin, that was a very sus ultimate right there, but then again, KTZ, because they know that Bigetron Alpha doesn't really have these big ultimates, right? Maybe AP BREN wants a bigger play out of this.
Wants to go for Ogwen. It's a chill, not that easy to take down. Super Win getting pulled back and instantly just, wow, sweep and kick all the way back to the tier 1. And that's an easy kill for AP BREN.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was expecting, right? Like Ogwen, nice kick, and also nice sweep. So this pick-up potential is going to put you even further away from the team so that AP BREN can successfully it's just playing basketball, right? Just using Super Bin as a ball instead. No bouncing ball, pun intended right there, but just passing from Ogwen over to side of KTZ and right into the turret. Man, beautiful plays coming off of AP BREN, but Bigetron Alpha right now with a bit of an awkward early game, but they're still not shy away from the goalie. Bigetron Alpha, don't forget, Melissa going to the late game. Saken is still farming. Super Marco not finding a lot of successes in the early game this time around. So that's going to be a big problem for AP BREN.
They also get the flicker out of Zorizo. They try to go for the gank. Second turtle up. Saken this time will be able to join his team. You say the same for Super Marco. Good Tyrant's Invest. Going straight onto KTZ. The call alter will keep him alive, and he's going to flicker to the safety. Ogwen by his side. Bigetron Alpha having just more health pool if there's ever a turtle fight.
Yeah, nice kill coming on Super Marco. He's needed to basically shove the mid lane so that, Bigetron Alpha needs to deal with the mid lane before actually going to the turtle. Now Super Ken jumping around. He does have the hard guard.
He's gonna try to do as much damage as possible. The final slash is gonna be there, but Super Ken doing massive damage to field. The kick coming out, taking out Zorizo. AP BREN Ogwen finding the pick once more. This entire turtle will be resetted. But Bigetron Alpha, they still have the health to work with if they want to. Top side, Sakin also pushed away.
AP BREN right now, they lost the turtle priority again because Bigetron Alpha knows how to dance around the turtle, and not only just that, Sakin is just hard shoving up top while Super Marco is too busy, needs to land on support for his team in order to win the turtle fight. Sakin is actually power pushing up top. Look at the top side, gold lane for the side. AP BREN is super low at the same time. Super Marco trying to this time around joining fight. Super Vin jumping in.
He's just soaking up majority of the damage. Bigetron Alpha back in the fight already. The turtle control is going to be completely surrendered to Bigetron Alpha. No contest at all. Super can get that objective. We're gonna have kind of a minor pause coming out as we figure out what the pause is going to be all about. But for now, we're in a pretty decent state, right? With AP BREN up 4-0, but thankfully for Bigetron Alpha, they do have 2 turtles for themselves. So end of the day, you still aren't losing out on too much. You're winning in terms of objectives. You're keeping the net worth pretty even. It seems like the pause is coming up from AP BREN, so we'll get that sorted out.
Yeah, definitely. But before we go into the pause earlier just now, I just want to do a bit of a quick recap, right? You said that Bigetron Alpha was able to secure 2 of these objectives, right? But if you take a look at the total kills, it is leading towards AP BREN. So Bigetron Alpha, yes, they're lacking the kills. They don't really have the damage in the early game to do anything for now. They need this big 5v5 fights, and the main ingredient for this big 5v5 fights for the side of Bigetron Alpha is that Melissa Sakin has always stayed in lane to not, and he knows that his priority is not there yet. He needs to go into like the late game where he secures his Holy Trinity, right? Attack speed, 3 items Trinity in order to pop off. So as long as Bigetron Alpha doesn't lag behind too much in the gold lead, they may potentially catch up against AP BREN. But AP BREN on the other hand, these kills are good. It allowed KaoTZ to snowball, but KaoTZ in the late game, if his shadows actually don't land onto Sakin, Bigetron Alpha will win any team fight.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have Melissa, right? When you start spreading all that damage with the models, it does become a pain to deal with, and destroys the Call Alta. Honestly, there's no one on the side of AP BREN that is going to be durable enough to outlast all these consistent damage out from Melissa. We're going to be back in the game and instantly secondary pause again. We'll get that sorted out as fast as possible, and that means more time for us to kind of go through what could be the occasion. It could be the same pause again. AP BREN. They might have went in just for a secondary ping test to see if things are going smooth, and unfortunately, it still needs a bit more time to resolve.
Yeah, the fact that Bigetron Alpha are using the turtle to basically equalize in terms of the gold lead, that's a-okay. But I also like to put more focus over the side of the gold lane. If you compare game number 1, it's Sakin on the Harif that is just literally snowballing out of control, right? Now, this time around, AP BREN, I don't think Super Marco is really comfortable on this early game. Super Marco feels like this kind of player that's really strong, especially in the later parts of the game. You sacrifice the early game, and then you just pop off in the late game. It's like, when you play D&D, you point by, right? You can only be good at one thing. If you want to be good at early, mid, and late, you're just going to be subpar, jack of all trades, right? But yeah, Super Marco decides to invest all these points into being that Super Marco late game.
And I think this has been a very common trend for AP BREN. It's all about having KaoTZ, getting the momentum going early on, and the later the game goes, the more responsibility is put on the Super Marco, and he happily takes that on. Every time we head to the late game, it's either KaoTZ or Super Marco that pops off.
Yep, definitely. And Zorizo this time around for the side of Bigetron Alpha, right? He's not a Fredrin anymore, so yeah, he knows that he's unable to face tank. He's actually buying space for Super Ken to do whatever he wants. By the way, this time around, the Joy wasn't able to snowball. One of the win condition for the Joy in the early game is to get that snowball going. Your farm as a Joy in the early game is slower as compared to a higher booster, right? So that's why Super Ken, if he doesn't really find that snowball, he's going to fall off tremendously in the late game. But then again, if But then again, if you look at AP BREN, this is a roster that relies on Few and Super Marco and also Awkward, right? These three will be kind of like, oh well, especially Few and Super Marco, right? These two are your backline, right? And they will stick together. And if they stick together, they're gonna just get all the damage by Super Ken in this out, and we're back to game.
Super Vin charging up the Tyrant's Revenge, but no follow-up. No info on AP BREN so far. That Gold Crab going over to Sakin as they funnel everything towards it. Meanwhile, mid lane, Super Ken with the help of the Hard Guard trying to run down AP BREN. Swiped to the side by the final slash. Super Ken running away with the help of that Alice, but it doesn't really matter. The flicker from Awkward into the kick will finish him off. Massive punish. Super Vin comes in, catches two on the back, but Super Marco able to get away in time as Zorizo shows up with the flicker, rams Kautizi into the wall, and both junglers go down.
Yeah, mid lane open for the contest, right? AP BREN was the one that got the first jumps. You can see how Super Ken contributes to the team fight, right? Just denying off the altar. Bigetron Alpha knows, and they just jump in. Super good setup by the side of Super Vin to set that all the way up. And don't forget, Sakin right here is joining the party of Bigetron Alpha, and you can see immediately they got that one kill.
Gotta watch out if you are AP BREN. Super Marco still trying to get his levels up. Zorizo and Key pressuring him as well. This is definitely a slower game for Harif compared to what Sakin had to endure in game 1, right? He had a massive lead, he was running everyone down, but this time, not the same for Super Marco. Definitely struggling against Bigetron Alpha.
Yeah, and then you start to ask the question, right? Harif in the late game is not the strongest gold laner at all, right? Yes, this time around with the new patch does help him with the life steal just a little bit more, but then again, you know, you don't really have that pushing power as compared to a marksman, right? Like, and also you rely on Bigetron Alpha to make the same mistakes as AP BREN to fight in that choke point. Bigetron Alpha, I think Sakin knows how to deal with the Harif, so I don't think Bigetron Alpha will attempt to make that same mistake. Flapteezy looking for angle right here, final sweep, catches Super Vin.
And they will not be able to get the Lord though, unfortunately. Super Ken will secure that very easily. Super Vin gives his life away, but most important part for Bigetron Alpha is that they get the objective, Lord in their favor.
Yeah, they weren't able to punish Bigetron Alpha even more. Super Vin bought enough time, and that's the power of Bigetron Alpha, right? That's the power of Super Vin in buying a lot of space for Super Ken. Even though he's far behind, I just need to press the wretched finger, and Zorizo just buggers out of there.
Very, very straightforward gameplay for Bigetron Alpha. They know that, well, AP BREN, sure, they got some early kills, but they're not exactly the hardest to finish off, right? Kautizi, he's not gonna even stand a chance against Super Ken. So all things considered, that early lead from AP BREN, you said that the pressure to Kautizi, he got, you know, 2 early kills. When it translates to Super Marco, none of that was allowed to happen. So Bigetron Alpha, in fact, are in the driver's seat.
Yeah, definitely, right? With the Lord Intel up top right here, Bigetron Alpha putting a spearhead instead. That's a concealed play coming in. Super Ken jumping onto Flapteezy.
It's gonna be the final slash right there. Kautizi trying to clear out the wave as fast as possible. The bounce to the back actually finishes off Key. They will trade fuel in return, but AP BREN, you're gonna be happy with that trade.
Yeah, definitely, right? Like, you're gonna add even more kills for the side of Kautizi. He's gonna snowball, but don't forget, look at Key right here. Immediately after he's dead, he actually secured an Ice Cream one of the important items for the Angela as well. So now Kautizi needs to be a bit more careful. He's gonna get perma-slowed down if he's not careful by Key. And not only just that, right? Like, he's gonna get kited around if Kautizi wasn't able to just instant kill or instant delete anybody with the Shadow Q.
Try to test that triple buff again. Ogwen losing majority of his health, and Hugh comes in clutch with the call Alta. Final flash used as well by Flapteezy, trying to keep Bigetron Alpha away, but Flapteezy overextends to the back, and Bigetron Alpha just comes back in with the damage and the re-engage. Sakin free hitting everyone. The Tyrant's Revenge to follow up Super Vin, catching Flapteezy, and this time there's no running as Sakin finds a double.
Ooh, Sakin was huge right there. He maintained a very good range. Super Vin just setting up really nicely once again. AP BREN wanted to fight Bigetron Alpha in that choke point, and once you see Kautizi wasn't able to secure the kill on Sakin, he's unable to do anything as well. Yes, you take down Key, but what can you do? Here comes Onslaught.
They need to take a Sakin. Look at that. Sakin stands his ground as Super Ken runs down Kautizi. The attempt is there. Super Ken wins that one. The kick is going to be down onto Sakin, and finally Ogwen takes him down with the help of Few. Bigetron Alpha fighting a bit more than they could chew.
Yeah, at the very least, you know, AP BREN's trying to look for any form of ways to sustain. Just take a look. Super Ken does have the EXP lead in the favor. Blood Wings already built by the side of Super Ken already. So more shields going into and more sustainability and more survivability for this Joy. Now, AP BREN, as long as they actually maintain, you know, the 3 inhibitor turrets up, AP BREN does stand a chance. Don't forget, Super Marco is this late game marksman or late game gold laner. But if you take a look on the other side, Bigetron Alpha has so much structure standing and their defense is robust.
Oh yeah, the defense absolutely ironclad right now. All the tier 1s still alive. AP BREN,
Yep.
3,000 goalies behind. You see Zorizo, he is so deep in the jungle of AP BREN, just watching over the purple buff. He knows that Kautizi will go for it. And Super Vin has already zoned out the rest of AP BREN. I don't think they can contest this lord at all.
Not at all. Super Vin is just zoning around, just making sure Super Ken can basically do his own thing, right? And now the only thing that AP BREN can do is just try to control the wave, try to slam it shut against Bigetron Alpha. But Bigetron Alpha has so much structures, right? And this means that they've got so much map control. If I'm able to paint the picture, it's mostly Bigetron Alpha side of the map, because AP BREN has lost way too many structures they cannot hold, and then even though, you know, Few does have that pseudo tankiness, the Cow Altar, right, coming into play, that doesn't help because all the members of AP BREN is constantly getting bursted down, and not only just that, getting knocked up sky high by Zorizo. Saken, if he's not dead, AP BREN will die in any form of team fights, and Bigetron Alpha and AP BREN decides to handshake.
Super Vin getting swiped back by the final slash. Lord is already dropping low, and there's no way for Kauti to even attempt this. He's gonna show up with the shadows, but very, very late. Bigetron Alpha gets a free objective.
Yeah, AP BREN, I don't know, like, man, I think the game plan right now, instead of trying to catch Saken, their main goal is to try to pick Bigetron Alpha frontline apart bit by bit. But that's exactly what Bigetron Alpha wants to do, right? Fight front to back. But if you take a look at the items, there you go. You can see Saken already securing the Holy Trinity. Instead, also going into the, I believe that's a Malefic Roar as well. So, that Melissa is going to do a lot more damage towards these structures. But if you take a look on the other side of AP BREN, right, that's also going to be the Dawn Eyes, which is definitely needed for the side of Aquan to sustain and survive through the attack speed and deny seconds on the attack speed, right? Then also, right now, Super Marco, instead of going for the concentrated energy, went for the Holy Crystal first. He thinks that he needs more damage, but then again, he's sacrificing for survivability. He's relying on Few with the Cow Altar on that one.
Gonna try to stop this lord and protect that inhibitor turret. The bottom one will be safe for now, but the mid one will fall thanks to Saken and Cole. AP BREN not able to do too much. Kautizi playing sidewave, but look at Key on the map as well. He knows that Kautizi is somewhere, so he's not even showing himself. Super Win charging up the Tyrant's Revenge, looking for Flaptizi. It's gonna connect. No follow-up with the Tyrant's Race just yet. It hold is very slow. Flaptizi to the back instantly. There's a kick on the Zorizo. They need to finish him off, but it's going to be the stun re-engage from Bigetron Alpha. Might have been a massive mistake as Saken goes absolutely berserk with a double. The Muddles completely shredding through the health bars of AP BREN, and suddenly they find themselves 3 men down. As Fear responds with the reduced respawn timer. The passive will help him up a little bit, but Bigetron Alpha cracks open the bottom inhibitor at the same time. Midwave showing up. The barrier is gonna allow Bigetron Alpha to sync up 2 waves at once. And look at that, Ogwen, 15 seconds away. Flaptizi needs another 20. Engage from Super Win is gonna go wide. Muddle lay down as well. Kautizi needs to survive for as long as possible. Few will drop down the Cow Altar to keep his team and buy some time. The OG Shadow Kill not enough. And Super Marco is gonna get run down by Super Ken. And Bigetron Alpha, they're gonna trade 1-for-1, but AP BREN have lost so much.
Yeah, no more Zorizo to basically fix the waves. They know better not to tangle with AP BREN anymore. AP BREN just literally throwing bodies. But this is not a very good place for you!
He's gonna try and face check that brush, and it's a fatal mistake. And now it's gonna be bad news. Ogwen needs another 30 seconds. They need as much time as possible. Kautizi, can you work some magic? Super Ken tanking some shots from the crystal. And that's enough to force Bigetron Alpha back.
Yeah, the area clear from the Ghost Bursters are the only thing that kept AP BREN alive. Luckily, Few does have that, you know, Cow Altar and also the respawn timer coming in to basically coming in a little bit clutch for the side of AP BREN. Bigetron Alpha, this is a big problem right now. If you can't end the game in the early, like right there and then, Bigetron Alpha needs to try something else. There you go. They're going to go for the Lord instead right here. There's a lot of space for Bigetron Alpha to work with unless Kautizi is able to try to sneak away the Lord with the shadows. But look at Sake and look at how the members of Bigetron Alpha are stacking.
Yeah, too late. Kautizi again late to the party as Ogwen. He's going to get shredded by Saken. Few